my second Vlogmas and it's actually a very busy day. So I'm finishing getting ready right now and then I'm gonna go grab some breakfast, go to the post office, drop off some ornament packages, and then I'm gonna go check on our little dude. I'm so excited. I really love our doctor's appointments because, like, while I don't get to see him, I get to hear his little heartbeat. It's so cool. And then whenever I get home, I'm in like full prep for leaving mode. And I don't know about y'all, but I love cleaning my house before I go anywhere. It just makes me feel better. One of the issues that we're having right now and that we've had in this house the whole time is that our basement sewage backs up. It's very nasty, but all of the drains in our basement tend to back up with our neighbors every 6 months or so. And a couple weeks ago, it was our turn, unfortunately. So I'm gonna go around and sweep all of the cobwebs, and then I'm going to wash and sanitize the concrete in the whole basement, which I've not done. I've like washed certain areas, but I definitely haven't washed and sanitized all of it. So that is what we're doing today, and that's what this video will be. And then I'm gonna do like a little mini laundry room makeover. I've been wanting to do some organizing. I don't know, call it early nesting. I don't know how early nesting starts, but I feel like I've just been wanting to organize the house honestly since before I found out I was pregnant. So that's what we're gonna do in the basement, and it's just gonna be a very productive day today. I also wanted to update y'all. So last vlog I did say that I wasn't gonna show my cousin's sign in case she watched it. She watched it. She texted me. She was not pleased that I did not put her sign in the video. That video will be out on probably Tuesday. I think that my Vlogmas schedule is going to be Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, so be on the lookout for those. And Lauren, I'm sorry, but I promise you I'll more than make up for it because I'll see you next week. Let's get the day started. I unplugged my mic whenever I charged my camera and totally forgot to plug it back in when recording an entire section of this video. So I'm going to do a little voiceover with my good mic here. I had 3 hours between my morning doctor's appointment and my chiropractor appointment to clean as much of the basement as possible. The plan I had in mind was to break the basement into 3 different cleaning sections. The space by the colorful cabinet, the space by the washer and dryer, plus the area past the door, and then the space that I've been working in whenever I need to sand or paint things. Hi there, editing me here. I figured it would just be best to refilm this entire section rather than trying to voice over footage that I don't actually have. I asked over on Instagram for suggestions on how best to clean this concrete because our last house was the first time we ever had a basement, and like we did have to deal with all of the things that come with having a basement. However, it was a finished basement, so I've never had to clean concrete before, and I wanted to make sure that like I did a decent job of it. My initial plan was to just use bleach and water for the entirety of cleaning the basement. However, I had a suggestion that was to use some sort of cleaner and then go in with the bleach. I didn't want to risk mixing any chemicals, so I decided to just use Dawn dish soap and some water. I also removed the drain covers and gave those a good scrub because who knows the last time that those were actually cleaned, if ever, and they were quite disgusting. I've decided to start on this half first. And I think I'm just gonna send it, you know? What's the worst that can happen? I mean, it's just water. Oh, wet socks. That's the worst that can happen. Oh! I always need a nap after the chiropractor, so it's a little later than I'd like it to be. But the half of the basement that I cleaned looks really good. What I decided to do, instead of scrubbing it with soap and water first and then going in and re-scrubbing with bleach, I think that since the majority of the concrete is okay and it hasn't had sewage water touch it, I'm just gonna add some bleach to the drain and around the area. I did that with one of the drains and it seemed to work just fine. It does smell a little like bleach in here, but it doesn't smell like sewage, which is what I want. And obviously the bleach smell is going to dissipate while I'm gone, which is great. I'm still gonna wear this while I clean. Just wanted to take it off for a moment to talk here. Oh, I have boots in the car. Here, wait. Problem. What happened was, at one point in time, a long time ago, whenever all of these houses were set up to the sewage system and to the main line for, our city, our house and our neighbor's house meet at a Y connection in the ground that runs to the main sewer. So like right before this is a city problem, our houses connect with this Y system. It's old, it's outdated, and basically what's happening is that it's causing issues between us and the neighbors. Again, like I said earlier, about every 6 months. This is an issue that our neighbor has dealt with the previous owner for several years, and we have been looking at solutions for this. Now, there is a giant tree planted right over our system. It should not be impacting our neighbor's system. However, the roots are just growing into the old corroded pipe. So over this past year, we've had a couple of plumbers out, and we've had temporary fixes, which is just to flush the line and get what they can basically. And we were quoted for 4 different solutions for how to resolve this from happening again, basically. So the first 3 solutions were non-solutions. They were just temporary, which is like, let's do what we've been doing every time we have to call a plumber out. So that was like $600. There was a $2,000 solution where they descale the line, which again, in another 6 months, our neighbor's gonna call us and tell us that we have to fix things. And then 6 months later, we'd have to get a plumber out over here. It would the cycle would repeat itself. The third solution was a $20,000 solution where they replaced our line up to the main street. So like, they're not going to have to dig in the street or anything like that, but it's still kind of temporary because there's a lot of shifting in the pipe right before it gets to the city line. The final solution, which in our opinion is going to be the best solution because it's the only one that's actually going to resolve the issue, and it's only $10,000 more than what the last temporary solution would be, is anywhere between $33,000 to $36,000. And basically what they would do is take everything out, take our line out, cap off our neighbor's line, and then give us a new line completely from our house to the main sewage system. They're gonna have to like dig under the road. It's a whole to do, and that's probably what we're going to have to do in the not so distant future. But in our opinion, to have this resolved, since we're gonna be here for at least another 5 to 10 years, it's definitely worth it, because by the time you call out a plumber so many times, you're gonna end up spending a lot of money. And this is not something that I can like constantly just flush out myself. A plumber has to come do this. This is not something that I trust myself with. And so that would be the final solution. Just so you're aware, owning an old home can be wonderful, but definitely costly. Like having to replace the roof was $20,000 before we even owned the home. We needed that in order to close. I'll link my video talking about the roof situation in the little tag up here, as well as down below if you want to check that out. Owning an old home is very costly, and I'm super fortunate that, you know, we live here. We have a great house. We love this house, but buyer beware whenever you are looking at buying an old house, because things start to add up very quickly beyond just the pretty progress. The previous owners left this really cool little hutch, and I'd love to put it right next to the dryer so that way I can get things off the washer and dryer. And I just measured and it'll like just fit. So we should be good.
Oh, good golly. Woo! That's a lot of dust. Before, after.
It feels and smells so much better on here. Like I don't feel like I need to wear a respirator anymore. It just feels clean, you know? I'm not walking into cobwebs. I don't smell sewage water. It's fantastic. I also took like an hour and a half to really clean this thing. I dusted it and then I used Pledge on it, and now it's so much better. But it is now moved into its new home. It's a little unstable, so I'm probably gonna just put a little shim real quick. But I love it right here. I purchased this glass container at Michael's. The only reason I got it was because it was half off. But I had been looking for some sort of glass container that had a lid, because the spiders in our basement work really hard and they're constantly creating some new webs. So I wanted to have a place for my dryer balls that were fully covered, because right now I've just been using this basket that I had in our old house and it's been fine, but I'm sure I can find a better place for this basket. I'd really love to get a few glass jars for the detergent. So this one, and whenever we have baby detergent, I want 2 separate little glass containers that have a spout. I've been on the hunt for them. I found a few plastic ones that I don't love, so I haven't purchased those. But if you see any sort of like glass liquid dispenser that has a little pull spout for under $20, let me know. Drop me a comment, send me a DM, anything, because I've been looking for months now and I've yet to find one. I know they exist. I just don't know where they exist. I can probably find them on Amazon, but they tend to be a little bit more pricey on Amazon than if I could find them, you know, local or at like a thrift store or anything like that. I cleaned off the tops of the washer and dryer, and oh my gosh, this makes me feel so much better. I need to find a little trash can, but other than that, this is great. For dinner tonight, I'm making twice baked potatoes. They're so easy to make, so I make them fairly often. but they just came out, so they are extremely hot. And the last few times that I've made these, they've been a little hard in the middle, so I baked them a little extra the first time, and so far they're feeling pretty good. I've only cut into one though. Usually there's like 1 or 2 in the batch that just doesn't cook right in the middle for some reason. This is definitely my least favorite part because I have so burnt myself before, but they're so tasty, so it's almost worth it, you know? I think I'd rather make super fancy mashed potatoes, but Jared really likes the twice baked potatoes, so I make them. So the other day I fell. I'm okay, baby's okay, Chewy is okay, but I fell and my body is so ridiculously sore. It kind of comes and goes, but I'm also going to a chiropractor now, so like she's been working on my shoulder. But basically what happened was Chewy wanted to go out at 2 a.m. So I brought him and he kept fighting me to like come back inside. So I gave him a little more leash and I like walked towards him to be by him. And whenever I did, I looked up and I saw what I assume is a coyote. Like it looked like a coyote, is to my knowledge. Obviously, Chewy's a 15-pound snack to animals that are much larger than he is. So I picked him up and I ran inside. And when I did, I fell on the concrete. And thankfully, I took most of the hit on that. I fell like on my knees, and like obviously I had Chewy in this arm, so I like fell this way, but it was quite the experience. Chewy was fine, and then I got checked. Baby's fine. I'm a little bruised. I will say I'm kind of frustrated because I've got this giant bruise right here. You could like kind of see it, yeah. Got this bruise right here, and my cousin's wedding is, I don't know, 2 weeks away, 1 week away. So I'm like, cool, love that. Like the best thing about that whole situation is the fact that we got to see baby. So ultrasounds pretty much just look like blobs to me, except for the toes. I can always like know where kind of sort of things are by his little toes. So cute. All of that to say, my shoulder is so sore today. So like I hit my elbow and then somehow this shoulder got out of whack. Who knows, man, who knows? So doing like the same motions over and over again, especially like with the scroll saw right now, or sanding. Sanding has been so bad. So I've had to take things a lot slower than I have time for, but obviously I can't rush my body healing. So I'm doing what I can. A few years ago, Maddie Matheson posted a video called The Best Steak and Potatoes, I believe. All I know is he opens it with, have you ever had the best steak and potatoes before? That's all I know. Since he's posted that, I've kind of sort of made a version based off of his potatoes. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, butter, salt, and green onions. And it's actually very good. Really, I feel like you can put a lot of stuff in a twice baked potato. Sour cream. Maddie Matheson added broccoli in his. I do bacon. Oh, he also did pancetta. Bacon and pancetta. By the end of all this, obviously you have cheese and butter with a potato taste, but they're still very good. Add my bacon. I feel like I normally make 4 or 5 potatoes, so I feel like this mix is a little on the additives side since I'm only making 3, but I don't want too many leftovers this week. Add in the green onions. Those are actually a bit too big. It's okay. I've saved all of you my knife skills because I promise you, not a soul wants to watch me chop things. I've never claimed to be able to cook well, you know? I can make a few things really well, but at the end of the day, not many. I actually, fun fact about me, cannot make baked chicken or like stovetop chicken. Cannot do it. It's actually quite humorous that it is it's a skill that I have to not be able to make chicken in the oven or on the stove. So I always have to make chicken in either the crock pot or the pressure cooker. And and that's the only way chicken will ever come out tasty for me. So I baked these potatoes at 400, about an hour, 15 minutes. And then once these are all stuffed, I'm gonna put them back in the oven for about 20 minutes. Do some cheese? A little bit? Come here. Is it good? I made a really rookie mistake. I left my tripod for my camera in the basement, and I'm just like way too comfortable now that I'm clean to go get it. I'm just gonna do a little sign off on my phone camera. I was crazy busy, but honestly, I'm just so happy to have all of the sewage and that smell out of my basement. I didn't get to clean the area where I've been working because honestly, I'm going to be working in there again tomorrow. So it just doesn't make sense to clean it all up and then, you know, go through that now. So I might just tackle that at the end of the month whenever I'm back, or the beginning of January at some point. But it's really nice to have all of the sewage smell gone and to have all of those drains clean, or at least cleaner and sanitized. So that's great. But for now, I am gonna lay down in bed, ice my back, and watch the Great British Baking Show. So I will see you all on Sunday.